By now I hope that all members will be familiar with this Council's borough funding strategy. It's something that I've spoken about at length in this chamber, discussed regularly with our Surrey members of Parliament, and raised persistently in meetings with ministers. Even I'll admit I'm beginning to sound like a broken record, but I do not intend to stop. The message to the government has been simple. Surrey has done more than our fair share to support the country's economic recovery. We've done everything we can to reduce our own costs, but the growing demand on our services means that we are reaching a crisis point. Without further funding, we simply are not able to guarantee that the residents of Surrey will get the school places, the adult social care, the highways, or the flood protection that they rightfully deserve. I've been strongly supported in this campaign by my cabinet team, by my officers, and many members of this room. In fact, you could say it's been a real one-team effort. Together, we put forward some really clear, evidence-based arguments to government, and I'm delighted that last week's autumn statement revealed that the government has listened, pledging investment in Surrey's roads and flood defences. Starting with roads, Mr. Chairman. Over many months, we've worked to highlight how Surrey's highways are some of the most heavily used in the country. As a result, congestion is a serious issue, one that affects not only our residents, but also hundreds of thousands of commuters and businesses who travel through our county each day. We spoke out on this issue, and government has listened, with the Chancellor announcing investment for a number of major road schemes in Surrey last week. These included widening the A3 through Guildford to the Hog's Back, with improvements to junction safety. Very welcome, I believe, or anybody that area. Improvements to 10 of the 31 junctions on the M25, including a major rebuilding of Junction 10. And a study into the long-term options for improving conditions on the southwest section of the M25, which, as you all know, goes through Surrey. Chairman, I know these investments will be welcomed by our residents and our business community, for whom we know that roads are a real concern. Moving on to flooding. The River Thames between Datchet and Teddington is the largest area of developed floodplain without defences in England. This means that flooding in this area can cause severe disruption, such as major disruption to our road network, to affect key drinking water systems, threaten 20 electricity substations, and leave over 15,000 homes and businesses at risk. This Council wants to do everything we can to protect our Surrey residents and our businesses. That's why we've been working with the Environment Agency and the neighbouring local authorities on our flood defence plans, making a pledge to work together to deliver the Lower River Thames Flood Defence Scheme. Together, we have lobbied government heavily on this issue, and I'm pleased to say they have listened, with an announcement last week of an additional 60 million for this scheme. Of course, that will still leave local government needing to find around 40 million, which is tough given the pressures we are facing on school places and elderly social care. However, this announcement from the government is a step in the right direction. And I'd like to put on record, Mr. Chairman, our thanks to Philip Hammond, Member of Parliament, who is charged with cabinet flooding lead for Surrey, for his assistance in this matter. I hope that this announcement will encourage all partners to continue to work together and be clear on just what resources we can each commit to this important scheme. However, when it comes to flooding, there is still more we need from government in order to protect Surrey residents. For example, we are still awaiting announcements of funding for other affected flood areas in Surrey, such as the River Mole and its effects on towns like Etching, Leatherhead, Godwin and Guildford. And of course, east of the county. I've also written to ministers to oppose the proposed early closure of the Government Flooding Repair and Renew grant, which, if it goes ahead, will have the largest negative impact on a number of Surrey residents. However, my biggest disappointment is that government does not seem to have listened carefully enough to our calls for fairer funding for schools. Since I spoke about this issue at our last council meeting, we have cooperated fully with the Department of Education and clearly demonstrated our funding gap. It's really hard to ignore the evidence. 13,000 extra school places are required over the next 5 years as a result of Surrey's highest ever birth rate. That's equivalent to 30 new primary schools. Mr. Chairman, members, we are faced with a stark reality. Without further funding, sufficient settlement soon, we can no longer guarantee school places for every single school child in Surrey. Today, I call upon the government to show that they have listened to the clear case that we and Surrey MPs have made, and to confirm the investment for school places in Surrey that are so desperately needed by children and families across our county. Of course, whatever funding announcements we receive, we all know too well that they'll only provide a short-term fix because of our demand-led challenges. Because as demand for our services continues to rise, we need to look for longer-term solutions. And I believe that those longer-term solutions here in Surrey, what we need is the freedom and flexibility from government to put them in place. You will be aware that as Chairman of the County Council Network, I've been leading the call for greater devolution to county areas over the past year. At our last County Council meeting, I presented you with a plan for government, one place, one budget, which I believe will ensure better quality services for residents at a lower cost. However, the Scottish referendum has really brought this issue of devolution to the fore. And opportunities for real change are in our grasp, as proved by the recent Devo Max deal in Manchester. The Chancellor said in his autumn statement that his door was open to other cities who wanted to follow in Manchester's lead. But I say, what about the 23 million people who live in the county areas? I believe the door should be left open for everyone. I strongly believe that the case for greater local devolution is as strong here in Surrey as it is in the big cities. After all, Surrey has a bigger economy than Birmingham and Liverpool combined. Indeed, it also has a bigger economy than Leeds and Sheffield combined. So my challenge to government is this. If devolution makes sense for the people of Bolton, why not Guildford? If devolution makes sense for the people of Wigan, why not Woking? And if devolution makes sense for the people of Leeds, why not Reigate and Thames? Chairman, in my mind, it is simple. If devolution makes sense for Manchester, it also makes real sense for Surrey. The UK economy recovery needs a successful Surrey economy. We are the fastest growing part of the UK economy, and we already contribute 6 billion net in income tax to the exchequer every year, second only to London. Think how much more, just think how much more we could do if we were able to invest money where it's really needed to find local solutions to local problems. In business, you always back your winners by investing in your most successful product or your most successful branch, and the profits support that business to grow. That's real business sense. That real business sense should be applied to both central and local government, as well as all other public sector organisations. Chairman, the government needs to invest in Surrey and support it to grow. This will then allow us to provide even more money for the Exchequer and for the benefit of the UK PLC. Mr. Chairman, I firmly believe that the doors to number 10 and number 11 should be left open to everyone who is ready for devolution now. But in the meantime, we will continue to invest sensibly so that we continue to support the people who need our services the most, as we have done throughout my leadership, with your support. In important areas such as adult social care, children and youth services, improving school standards and apprenticeships. We are, of course, still in the process of agreeing our 5-year medium-term financial plan that begins in 2015, which I will present to Council at our budget meeting on the 10th of February 2015. However, I'd like to take the opportunity today to announce investment in a key area. 2 years ago, we established a reserve fund that could be used if we continue to see the growth in demand for services for vulnerable children and young people. That demand has continued to grow, particularly for children in need, the group whose needs fall below the threshold of child protection. Today I am announcing an additional £1 million investment for each of the next 2 years to increase the support to these children in need. From the outset of my leadership, I have always been clear that vulnerable young people are a key priority for us. And despite the huge pressures on us, I have adamant that we should always prioritise work to ensure children are as safe as possible. That's why I wanted to make this announcement today, and I hope that all members will support this important investment decision. Mr. Chairman, let me end by saying we've had a tough but rewarding year. We all know that years ahead will present us with further challenges and difficult decisions to make. But at the centre of everything we do for our residents is our dedicated and loyal officer team, and all of you, the Surrey's frontline councillors. I'd like to thank you all and the staff for your hard work and commitment that you have provided to our Surrey communities during 2014. And I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy and a peaceful New Year. Thank you.